Hey everyone, welcome back to You Are Here. I'm your host, Danny. This is a podcast all about growing up and every season of in between that, being growing up, you know, all of the everything. But today is going to be awesome. I have one of my dear friends here, Olivia, and we're talking about growing up. But we're talking about specifically motherhood, which is something that I'm not experiencing at the minute. But I just think it's such an important element of life. Obviously, we all have a mom. Maybe you want to be a mom one day. And I just think it's a part of who we are. So I can't wait to hear all of her thoughts about it. And she's really cool. One of my best friends ever. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hey.
Hi.
Welcome to You Are Here. Thanks. So glad you're here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here.
I am so excited to have this convo with you in your beautiful home.
Thank you.
My home.
Yeah, this is where you live as well.
Yeah. But I'm so excited. Okay, so tell people who you are. What's your name? Where do you come from?
What's your lore?
Yeah, what's your lore? What's the story behind you?
I'm Olivia. I come from the land of West Virginia.
There we go.
No, I did grow up. I was raised in West Virginia, and I moved to Dallas when I graduated to go to college, and I went to art school for photography. And in my first year of art school, I had a super serious boyfriend who was also super awful from West Virginia, so we were long distance, but I found myself pregnant at 19, and that's kind of when my world and life really changed. I mean, like, you have your normal growing up stuff, but that was definitely like a pivotal sort of brain and life moment for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't even imagine.
I mean, same.
Just like, yeah, like, does that feel like you're a different person? Like,
Yeah.
from, like, we looking back, you're like, who was that?
100%. Like, I feel like I'm watching someone else, like, in a movie or a TV show, thinking back on my life then. Just because I am such a different person. Mm-hmm. And because it's like, I see Layla now, she's 12. I'm like, she's not that far from 19. And the thought of that is just super weird. And seeing 19-year-olds now, I'm like, how in the world did that 19-year-old little baby have a baby?
Who let me do this?
I didn't sign a paper. Like, crazy.
No, yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
But on, like, Layla and your kids now, they're amazing. And I think you've done such a great job, obviously, like, being a mom and raising kids. But I think that was an interesting thing that you said about your relationship. Did you realize when you were in that relationship that it was an unhealthy one, or you were like, this is just the way it is?
No, yeah, I definitely realized it. Because in high school, I had a boyfriend that I did from like 8th grade to like junior year. And he was great, normal, like high school sweethearts, all of that. But then once I started dating this other guy, like, I had a comparison. I've had a great dad like my whole life. I had a good relationship with that first guy. So I knew what a good relationship was. Yeah. But for whatever reason, like, I just wanted to be rebellious. You know what I mean? And he was like the bad guy or whatever. I don't know. It sounds fun, but it's not fun. Yeah. That sort of situation.
Yeah, that's fair. I also think, like, whenever you're growing up, there are some people that that they like avoid paint me. I'm like, oh, that's bad, like, I'm not doing that at all. And like, they'll tell me, like, it's bad, like, I'll trust that. Yeah. But there's other people, like, you just have to learn by experience, which I think I am that way with certain things. Totally. You have to, like, give it a go. See, and then, like, see for yourself.
100%.
Yeah. So what advice, I guess, do you have for anybody who finds himself maybe in a relationship like that, where they're like,
use a condom?
Just
kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah, that's good. Yes, correct.
But I think it's hard because, to your point, like, I felt like the more that my parents and, like, family told me that it was bad, like, the more I wanted to be with him. So it's really a tough spot. Like, if you're the person watching it happen, it is like, you have to pray for them. Yeah. And that's not like a last resort. It's the first resort and only resort in that situation, and love them. Yeah. Like, that's the thing, is like, my best friend, who is still my best friend, who lives in West Virginia, she was just my solid friend through it all. You know, like, if I had a pregnancy scare or whatever, she was like, it's okay, I got you, we're here. She was actually with me when I found out I was pregnant. But she just, like, loved me through it. Yeah. And I'm sure she was, like, praying and, like, stressing and doing her thing over on the side. Yeah. But I think that's the thing, is, like, you have to pray for the people you love, but also support them, like, just as a human. because you can't change what they do. Like, I had to learn for myself.
Yeah.
And even, like, I had to have a baby to realize there was more for me and more for her beyond him. You know what I mean? Like, and it sounds dramatic, but that's what I had to do for my life. So I think it's different for everybody, but.
That's really good. I think that's an interesting thing that I've realized I was talking to my mom and like my aunts and like other women that are moms, that like they get so much like self-worth from like having a child.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that process? I think that's so fascinating.
It's so weird. I honestly don't even know how to describe it though. Like, there's just no words that you can put to it. Yeah. Like, I know that's so cliche,
but
is it
immediate? Like, right when you have a baby, you're like, oh my gosh, my whole life.
Yeah, straight away.
You're like, this is everything.
And like, not during pregnancy for me. Like, some people enjoy pregnancy and like that's their whatever. Yeah. I was like hella sick with Layla in the hospital multiple times. Yeah. Pregnancy is not for me. Like, this is not a gift. Yeah. I did not feel like this was a gift. Yeah. And also I'm 19 and like stressed. Yes. So like, I loved her, of course. But like, the moment she was born, I was like, this is it. She's it. Which is crazy. There's just like something about your brain chemistry that totally changes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely an element of like birth and like the process of life that is just like supernatural. Like, there just are no words to put.
It's spiritual for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, how do we make people?
No, insane. That's if you think about, and they just like grow in there. I'll never get over that.
It's freaky. It's freaky. But the other reason that I think I love this topic and talking to you about it specifically is because I think you're so good at being a mom, obviously, but then also like being you. And I've never once like when I met you, I never once was like, oh, Olivia's a mom. And Olivia, I don't know. And I think you definitely, like, I've met women that I'm like, oh, they're a mom. Like, that's awesome. Like, I love moms. Moms rock. Yeah. But it's like being a mom is who they are, which is great. And I think it's also very easy. Like you said, like, it is this, of what I gather, like, having a child does take over your whole life.
Yeah. And you want it to in a lot of ways.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, that's what makes you like a caregiver, loving, like all those things.
Yeah.
But I think you've done such a great job, and it could also have been like the time of life that I met you. Like, I don't know, but I just think you are so good at being yourself and like presenting yourself to the world, and then also letting your kids present themselves to the world like as they want to, as like individuals. Yeah. And same thing, like, I've never talked to your kids and thought like, oh, they're Olivia's kids. Like, I know they're Layla and Isaac. Like, they're like themselves, and I love that.
That's so sweet.
But can I guess you like walk through that process, or like how if that was a conscious choice, were you just like, for sure, I don't want to do this, or I don't know, you were like, they can just be whoever.
I think, well, on like the kid part of it, it's definitely like a choice every day, and intentionally, like Atticus, my husband, and I both make that decision to let them be who they want to be. But before Atticus was in the picture, even like Layla used to be like super girly, which she's not now, which is so funny. Like, wanted tutus and like glittery bows and all this crazy stuff that I thought was really ugly and awful. Right. And I did make the choice, and I think I even posted on Instagram about it like years and years ago. She was so happy to get a glittery bow, and in my head I almost said like, no, Layla, like, that's not cute, that's not you. And literally, I guess it was just the Holy Spirit or like a gut check that was like, no, that is her. That's not you, but that's her. Mm-hmm. So let her be herself. Yeah. This is not hurting anyone. It's not like you have to let her find her identity. She was like 3, but still, like, it meant a lot to me. And I think ever since that like moment and day, I realized, no, like, they're humans, and we are here to shape them and help them figure out like right and wrong and all those sort of things. But them being who they are is so important. Oh, on being like myself and being a mom. I think part of it was the trauma of like being a teen mom, honestly, and like my brain just compartmentalizing. But then also being a young single mom, like, you just have to hustle, you know, like, I had like 3 jobs at one point. I think 4 maybe was the most that I had at one point. But I was also 19, 20. Layla was a baby. And I wanted to make sure that my life was still what I wanted it to be. Like, having a baby didn't take away from the life I could have had. It just was like a detour, and actually made my life so much better. So I really wanted to be intentional of like, no, okay, I'm a single mom. I'm 19, but I also really love fashion. So I'm going to make a fashion blog. You know what I mean? Like, because if my kids see me being myself, then they feel more empowered to be themselves. Yeah. And that's super important.
Yeah.
So I think like that's the thing. And it's not always easy. Like,
Did you have that modeled for you as a kid, or is this something that you had to kind of figure this out?
I think yes and no. Like growing up in whatever late 90s, early 2000s Christianity is like a weird time, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of that situation happening. But my parents, like, they did the best that they could. I grew up in an amazing home. I can't complain about it. But there was some stuff that was just like a little overly religious or kind of weird. Yeah. So in some ways, yes, I had that modeled. In some ways, no.
On that podcast that Hannah and I listened to, Mind Shift, they had one episode and these girls came on and they were like talking about their podcast, and one of the guys was like, you guys are weirdly religious. And I think that's like a perfect way to put it. Because some things like Christians do have no rhyme or reason. They're just weirdly religious.
It's just so weird.
Yeah.
And I grew up like in a Pentecostal type of church. So like we have like blankets on, you know, like modesty cloths or whatever. So it's kind of a blur, but
I blocked it out. Some of those things out.
Exactly.
Yeah, repressed memories.
Yes, 100%.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think my mom, when I've always loved fashion. I've always loved like being expressive and like, you know, doing my thing.
Yeah.
And so I think my mom did a good job like helping me navigate that. She would always be like, Danny, you look silly, but if you want to do that, do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like here's some honesty, but
exactly. And so
that's
hey,
nice.
And like now I have those pictures and like funny things, whatever. But I do think it's great. I think letting your kids, and like I experienced it to a degree as well, but like letting your kids have whatever like autonomy they can have that the season allows of growing up, I think is so healthy.
Yeah, for sure. Because kids don't get a lot of it, you know, like we tell them what to do all day, or their teachers do, or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is important.
Yeah, and it's like creative self-expression. Like I think that's so cool. And I mean, you're also creative. Like you went to art school.
I guess that is like a nod to my parents. They did let me go to art school, and they were kind of like, "What are you doing? How are you gonna make money?"
Yeah. Did that have, I guess, any impact on like, or like going to art school, being creative, like all those things? Have you seen that, I guess, impact your life, or like the way that you do things, and like thinking differently about situations, or like even how you're raising kids, how you're married? Like
I think so. I want to say I think so. It's hard because it's like my normal of how I think. So I'm like, no, it's normal. Yeah. But I do think very different from Atticus, and he's not like a traditional creative, you know what I mean? So he thinks like very logically, and so do I, but I also think very like out of the box. I think things that feel normal to me, people are like, what are you, like, I guess we could try that, but what are you talking about? Yeah. So yeah, I think so. But I do think it makes it easier for me to allow Layla and Isaac to have like their self-expression, because it's just them expressing creativity and like finding themselves. Sure. So as a creative, thinking that way already, it makes it easier to just be like, oh yeah, this is harmless. Like, you're just vibing.
Yeah, exactly. You have a good read on it. Yeah. Like, is this going to hurt you or somebody else? No,
100%.
Whatever.
100%.
I think that's an interesting, oh my gosh. Hello? Did I have a stroke? I think that's an interesting part of like being creative. Yeah. And like artists in general. I think a lot of it is like just throwing stuff and seeing what sticks.
100%.
And like trying things, trying new methods, and like helping. And I don't know, like to a degree it's like the artist experience, but like with another human's life.
Yeah.
Which is like
scary.
Which is why I get why some parents are like, no, like you're not doing anything.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's all like good intentions.
For sure. But one thing about you that I really appreciate is like you're someone that really appreciates like the nuance of life, that it's not just so this or that all the time, or like black and white, that there's so much gray areas.
I feel
and
like the same about you.
Yeah, like I feel like not many people I meet understand that, and like I'm very quick to acknowledge like a life is I think an accumulation of living within different tensions. Yeah, all the time. Yeah, like you're balancing all these things at once, like being yourself, being a mom completely, 100%. Being a wife completely, on top of all of that, like you're doing all these things, being professional, being a creative, but also having to like value structure for the life and the family you have, like all these things. But yeah, can you like, I guess, speak to any practical tips you have for people who need that in their life, or like artists need that in
I feel like
life?
You saying life is about balance, like that sums up the human experience. Or maybe that's just more women than men. I don't know. Like I do think there is a higher expectation for women to balance everything than there is for men, even though that has changed a little bit. But like that just sums it up, you know? I think about it all the time. Like how much time, I usually think about it in terms of like time and effort. So like if I'm spending 30 minutes with this kid, then tomorrow I want to make sure that I'm spending 30 minutes with that kid, which is crazy because they don't know or really care.
That is crazy.
But like,
fair.
I have to do that in my brain though. Or like I'm going to lunch with Atticus this week, so I'll go to lunch with a friend next week. Like really try to balance time because time is like, it's precious, you know? Yeah. That's our commodity. Yeah. You can't get that back. Money you can get back, money you can make, but time is so precious, especially with freaking kids. Like Layla and Isaac are 10 and 12, which freaking blows my mind. And Atticus the other day, I was sitting in the closet getting ready, and he was like, hey, do you know that we only have like 6 more years with Layla? And I wanted to punch him in the face.
That's mean.
It was mean. I started crying, and I said, like, I was like, why did you say,
like, that's mean.
Why are you trying to hurt my feelings?
Why are you trying to hurt my feelings? She can't ever leave.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
But I think of like balancing things in terms of time. Yeah. And that, it works for me, but balancing relationships too, like, which comes back to time. But if a relationship is not life-giving or what you need or giving to the other person, like, you don't have to have relationships with people just to have relationships with people. Yeah. Like, I think that's a hard truth that I've learned throughout my life too, but it's super important. Like, you're growing up. Your time is precious. Who do you want to spend it with?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. I mean, you can be nice about it, but.
Yeah. And like grow up together with as well. Like, because to a degree, like that is what you're doing when you choose to spend your time with
That's
someone.
true, yeah. And you can outgrow people too.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's okay. Like, they were great for a season, but now it's time to move on. Yeah. And some friends, like, you grow together forever. And that's awesome too.
Exactly. I think it's so interesting. I feel like there's, again, or we were just talking about this before we started recording, of like there's so much crossover in like relationships. And I think as a single person, you always hear in church that like marriage is so difficult, marriage is whatever. And I'm like,
they're wrong for that.
Relationships are relationships. Right. Like, to a degree, like obviously I understand there's like another layer to marriage. It's like more severe because obviously you like committed to each other forever. Yeah. But like, but it's like, I think friendships have been such an incredible place for me to learn how to communicate my feelings, to learn how to like, to decide whether somebody is mutually also agreeing to like stick with me through my growing as well. And it's like, are those not the same elements to like a good marriage? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I feel so crazy when I sit in these things and I'm like, I feel like I'm learning. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah.
But do you have any? So okay.
Do you think like some people are like you have platonic and like romantic soulmates? Oh yeah. Do you think that too?
I think so. Yeah, for sure. I think you're a platonic soulmate.
Oh my gosh.
Be romantic too.
Okay.
I love living here.
I love it. I love you being here at all times. No, I think so too. But I think that's what you're describing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you grow together.
Yeah. And like agreeing to be better together. Yeah. You know? And for whatever like that looks like for that season. Because obviously people move away, whatever. But yeah. So I feel like that's something that I've learned from friendships. But do you think like what?
And like sorry. And like marriage can be hard.
Yes.
Like any relationship can be hard. And you said like the stakes are higher. True. And there's like this spiritual element of like you becoming one and like the sex of it all. But like for me, marriage is not hard. Like it has been hard. We've had like hard times or hard situations or whatever, but like overall, marriage is the most like fun thing that I've ever done in my life.
Can you talk a little bit about Atticus, how you guys met?
Yeah, I love Atticus. Okay, so we met at church. He was doing like a play production. He was in it and my mom was in it too. This was when Layla was like 2.5, 3. I don't know. So I went to rehearsal to say hey to my mom, and Layla ran over and grabbed Atticus's leg. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. She thought you were somebody else. Move along. And then he Facebook stalked me, because this was whenever, 2012, 2013. Facebook stalked me and like kept messaging me, and we kept talking. And then he asked me out, but he didn't like straight up say, hey, this is a date. He was like, hey, you want to go grab dinner? Meanwhile, I'm pregnant with Isaac. And I have a 2-year-old. Like, dating is not on the radar.
You're like, sure, weird guy from the church play.
Literally, I will go to dinner with you. And like Layla went with me. Like, we went to go grab dinner, whatever. It was chill. He paid for it though, and I was like, wait a minute. But I mean, like, that's how we met. Yeah. And then, like, weeks later or whatever, he had a conversation with me. He was at my apartment. We were building a puzzle. And he was like, hey, I want you to know, like, I am trying to date you. Like, I'm trying to pursue you. And I was like, okay, well, then what you need to know is that I'm pregnant. And actually, because it was so under wraps. Like, I didn't tell anybody. Right, okay. I didn't tell anybody. And I was, like, pretty depressed about it, too.
Were you showing it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not at all.
I always pictured you, like, can you use your mic? Oh, sorry. I always pictured you, like, 8 months pregnant. Like,
no.
Full belly.
Like people had no idea Isaac was even a thought because he was born early. He was born at 28 weeks. And I did not show. And then he just was there. And people were like, where'd that baby come from?
That's crazy. Oh, my gosh.
Anyway.
New layer to this story. Never before.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness.
No, it was crazy. But anyway, actually, I didn't even say I was pregnant because I was, like, so distraught because I didn't want to tell him, like, Yeah. I was like, okay, then you need to know. And he made a joke. He was like, what, are you pregnant? He literally said those words to me. He literally said those words. And I was like, no, yeah, I am. And he was like, well, okay, well, I would still like to pursue you. Like, you already have Layla. Yeah. We can figure it out if you're down. And I was like, okay. And then 3 months later, I had Isaac early at 28 weeks. Our relationship is like, so I don't even remember all of it. I can't even.
Blocked it out.
Yeah. Blocked it out for survival.
Yeah. No, that's crazy though. I mean, you were going through so much at that, like Isaac being in the hospital.
My brain cannot.
Your traumatic birth. I can't even imagine all of that.
But now we've been married for 7 years, so.
Yeah, and he rocks. Atticus, even the way that you guys met, he is the epitome of that Ariana Grande lyric, that I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it.
Yeah.
He is that. Everything about him.
I love that.
Yes, absolutely. Atticus, that's for you.
That is so true.
I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. And there we go. That's who he is. But yeah, he's awesome. And I think he's
an amazing dad too.
Yeah, he's so great. And I, again, like the way that you both parent and like teach your kids to be people, not just like your kids, is so amazing. Like I love watching that. I've learned so much just by being around you guys.
We really we try. We mess it up. Like we have a fun for their therapy, but like we try really hard to be intentional about it. Sure. And learn from our parents' mistakes.
I think it's also me going through therapy recently as well. I've realized one of the most annoying things about being a person is that like you can't pick what traumatizes you.
Oh my gosh.
And that's so annoying. Like
it is really stupid.
It is like something so small, something so little can just like get under.
It's not really fair.
Get in your soul. Yeah. And then you have to like undo it. But it's crazy. Yeah, it is not fair.
It's not.
But you don't get to pick what traumatizes you. And so, I don't know. I think I was doing great. Thanks. All that to say.
We'll have Isaac Layla on the pod in 5 years.
Yeah, all that to say.
See the follow-up.
Their response.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's so good. I think, you guys are just the best.
I think what's also cool about like, I think it's our stage of life because I had kids young. Like, we're always the youngest parents or like, whatever. We're like in a weird in-between situation. But I think it's cool because we do have friends that are like, they're married and they have kids around their age or younger kids or whatever. So they see that. But we also have a lot of friends that like are newly married or not married and like, or that are single and just work. Like, I love the diversity that they have to look up to because of the stage of life that like I had them and how we've grown up together. Like, they get to have really cool examples of different people in stages of life in their life rather than just like, oh, everybody's married, everybody has kids, all those things. Like, they get to see you and Hannah, like just women working and like doing life, happy and fulfilled. And then they also have people that are, grandparents and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But that's a really cool like aspect of it.
Agreed. Again, though, because you guys rock. Like, you guys are so good at keeping so many different kinds of people around you.
Yeah.
And I've also seen married couples like who do it the complete opposite. Like, they don't have single friends.
Yeah,
or they don't have friends at all.
Yeah.
And I always think that's so strange because I am not that way at all. And like, again, another reason platonic soulmates, because it like just makes sense to me that you would, for obviously your own benefit. Like,
right.
I think whenever you limit your perspective of like the kinds of lives that people can live, like you become just such a closed off,
bubble.
Yeah, closed off person. And even I can't imagine it even more so with like kids as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's awesome. And you guys are so fun. Like, I don't know who would want to be your friends.
Oh my gosh,
like,
you're so nice.
I want to talk about books. I'm bored.
No, yeah, let's talk about books. No, okay. I love books.
I know, I do. I love books too.
I think it's part of the like creativity thing.
Okay. Books. So books, your interests.
Yeah,
and
I love books.
I think also how you've translated your interests to like your kids as well is really cool. I don't think you've ever like forced them to do something, but obviously growing up, like if you see your parents do something, you're like, oh, I want to do that too.
For sure.
You know, like there's like a natural part of that too. But okay, what are some of your favorite things, your hobbies?
Okay, I do love reading. Like I love books because I love just like the imagination of it. And we joke about this all the time. Like I am not diagnosed autistic, but like I swear I have just like a touch of it because I get like so involved and like enveloped in these worlds and these places. So I love reading. No, I don't know if it counts as a hobby, but hosting people, like I really love. And it's not so much just like hosting people because I'm an introvert. Like I don't really love talking to a lot of people. Like parties stress me out, but like I will throw all the parties. But I think it's just like the intentionality of making people feel valuable and like seen and loved. Because I think for me and for most people, when you walk into a space that you know has been like created for you, whether it's like foods that you like, or you know someone spent time to like make the table or put out flowers or whatever it is, like you just feel special and you feel like at home. And I want that so badly for people, especially as adults. Like we don't get that. Yeah. Like you grow up, you have birthday parties, you do all this fun stuff, and then you just grow up and you're just like there. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
you use your money to like for rent and groceries and boring
and like
things.
Cars and
cars.
Not the special stuff. Like you don't get that as much. So providing that for people is like, I just love it. Like I love people feeling loved. So that's why I have a book club though, because it's both. It's books and it's like creating a place for people. And also creating a place for people to just like talk and have opinions. Like we talk about books. Yeah. But like you don't have to like this. You don't have to agree with this agenda or whatever. Like you can just have a conversation. Yeah. And have pretty flowers and charcuterie at the same time.
Yeah. And I think also it's kind of like a challenge, I would think, like a hospitality challenge. Yeah. Because obviously all the books are about different topics. Totally. So it's like, how am I going to make a new vibe?
No,
what am I
going
to incorporate? Like, I can't imagine how fun it must be for your brain to like,
it is.
Like figure out how to make it cute.
I'm stressing about this next one though.
I know.
The Vietnam War, like what?
I don't. What are we reading?
The Women
by Kristen Hanna, which we have a voting process. It's very tedious.
Book club, if you're listening, I'm not happy.
We're not happy about it. Okay, we don't want to read this book, but
so many people love it.
It'll be cute. Yeah. We did like a Shakespeare themed book that was so much fun, and she had like a dagger and like
Shakespeare cookies.
Yeah, Shakespeare cookies.
Thanks to Amazon.
Yeah, the
cookie cutter.
The cookie cutter. No, it's so cool. I think that's been amazing. I think that's something as well that I've learned to like so much from you as well, as like how to host people well, how to make people feel that way. My brain does not think in like, let me think of all these tiny little elements and like put it together. I think if I see it, I'll execute it, but I don't think about that at all.
But I feel like also like your personality, like I feel like I'm making up for not having a warm personality with like creating warm spaces. And you don't need to do that. Like, you have a warm personality. You just like connect with people and make them feel loved.
Oh, thanks.
So it's not like nice. You're lacking. I feel like we balance each other.
Yeah, exactly. Platonic soulmates again.
Exactly.
No, I just love it. Last book club, it was so cute.
Oh, I loved it.
It was so cute. It was the Crimson Moth, and you like made all these moths.
Yeah.
And her whole family was there hanging them up from the ceiling and like helping.
That's true. That it is always a family affair.
See, like it rocks. Like I love stuff like that, and I love that like your kids are allowed to see those parts of you. I feel like a lot of parents, for some reason, will hide those parts of themselves
for
from their
sure.
kids.
I don't really know why.
I know. I don't know why either. Maybe it's like the pressure of like I don't know. They don't want to impose their interests, or they don't want to like influence them in the wrong way.
I will say like with cosplay stuff that I do sometimes, I show it to them on purpose, but like I don't want to because I feel like such a nerd.
Yeah,
like I'm literally wearing like fake ears and like dressing like fictional characters, but I come out and like so they can see my outfits and like see me being weird.
Yeah.
Even if they think it's weird, I don't care.
Yeah.
I want them to see like permission to be weird and like whatever you want to like.
For sure.
It's fine.
For sure.
Like people might not get it, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. The glittery bow. It comes back to the glittery bow.
And ears.
Yeah, and
elf ears or whatever.
Elf ears, nested costume, whatever. Hey,
whatever.
Do we plug your TikTok? I think you should.
Do we?
Yeah, Olivia creates on
Olivia
TikTok.
creates.
Olivia creates. The other thing about you that's really cool, she was kind of fashion vlog famous in Dallas.
Gosh, I wasn't famous.
Yes, she was. She was about to events. She was about to events. No, I love this. Okay, can you talk about that? You were like at the pinnacle. To me,
it was like the perfect time.
Yes, you were at the pinnacle of like fashion blogger history.
Yeah, it was before like blogs were everywhere.
You were twee. Like you were Zooey Deschanel before she even knew she was Zooey Deschanel.
Really crazy.
I love it. Can you talk
about
that?
Is maybe like my one regret in life, that I stopped doing that.
Yeah, it's mine too. I wish you would have continued it.
It's so ridiculous.
No,
it's because like I loved fashion, and oh my gosh, even just like thinking through the outfits of like what that used to look like was so different. Obviously, when was this? Like it was right after I had Isaac.
I've seen the blog. It's cute. The blog is cute.
I don't even know. You've seen the photos. I don't think the blog is out there somewhere.
I thought you pulled up the website once.
Yeah, it could be.
It was cute.
Anyway, but no, like my love for fashion and creating and photography, like it was all just in one. Yeah. You know, so I could create outfits and then shoot with my friend, one of my best friends. Used to be my best friend, and not in like a weird way, in like a season of life way. She was a photographer too, so we would just go out like on our lunch break or whatever, because we worked as photographers for a clothing company. When I shot the not naked, but like the male models in
swimsuit wear brand,
we shot together. So at lunch we would literally like go and find cute places.
Bond is what that is. That is a trauma.
That's what
bond.
That is.
Yeah.
But it was so fun, and like I would just post online. I would post it on Instagram, and I got to work with a couple like local designers and just like plug their stuff and go to local shows and all that sort of stuff. It was really fun.
So cool. We figured out you were at the Pin Show.
Oh, right.
Which was a local fashion show of like local fashion designers in Dallas.
Yeah.
That they did every year. I think they've stopped.
I don't think they do it
which
anymore.
Is such a bummer because it was
cool.
It was so cool. They took over. It's like where all the art galleries are in Dallas. I think it's like Dragon Street or something like that. And they took over this place. They had a whole fashion show. You could see so like cool. It was like 15 plus designers. They would all have their like models walk. I mean, it was
and they were all local. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but it was so cute. I saw a proposal at one, and you were at that one too. And it's just crazy.
We had no idea.
We had no idea.
And here we are together.
I know it's so
crazy.
Cool. What are some of your favorite things about fashion?
Oh my gosh. I think it's the self-expression. Like I think all roads lead back to that.
For sure. Same.
It's self-expression. It's art. Like, what is the Devil Wears Prada? I can't even quote the whole thing. Where she goes in and she's like, your cerulean blue blouse that you picked out of a bin. Like that whole monologue of her being nasty is so true. Like it's art. It's intentionality. It's expression. It's like, what's not to love about it, honestly? Yeah. I freaking love it. Maybe the industry is like a little toxic, but
yeah, that's fair. But like, what industry is it?
Oh no, exactly. Just people
in the vacuum of capitalism.
Honestly,
yeah.
People equal toxic.
Yeah,
there are people. There is
no perfect system. There can't be.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but like I can be whoever I want to be on any given day. Like I can be Nesta Book Talk character over there because a designer made a dress that looks like that, and then tomorrow I can be cool girl Danny with a cap and like a denim jacket. I don't know. It's just the versatility and the limitless possibilities of fashion that is so fun.
For sure.
I freaking love it.
It's awesome. I love it for all that too.
And sometimes I'm scared of it too, though.
Yeah. Because it's like a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I feel that too. I think I also like the fact that you can find people. I tend to dress very like esoterically. Is that a word? Esoterically? I feel like, yeah.
It is now.
But I like wearing things where like if people know what it is, like they know. And then it's like instant rapport with someone. They're 100%. Like, oh my gosh, you know?
No, that's so true.
Yeah. Like, you have the MoMA New York City hat. Like you got that at the MoMA store in New York.
Yeah.
And then it's like instant rapport. Oh, I went to New York, whatever. I love that. It's so fun. Or just like the connection of like New York. Like, oh, I'm from there. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but it's something for people to like be drawn to connect with.
Yeah, it's the common ground.
Cool. Yeah.
There's this author, Simon Sinek, and I guess he's also like a motivational speaker. I don't know. He did a TED Talk. That's like how he became famous. He's so smart. Yeah. I love his stuff. But he talks about like people finding commonality with each other. Like, and he talks about like if you're in the subway in New York and you're from different places, but you're wearing like a Red Sox hat, you're like, oh, hey, I'm from Boston too. You might not live anywhere close to each other, but you're finding your common ground. Or like you're studying abroad or whatever. You're like, oh, I'm American too. But finding like that common ground with people, that's Atticus over there.
That was Atticus. I hope you guys heard that.
We're filming a podcast. Atticus, love you.
Hey, Atticus.
That's hilarious.
I know that is hilarious. I know, God. Oh my goodness. Guys, the eclipse was yesterday. The total eclipse was yesterday in Texas.
I actually did weep.
It was beautiful.
Like something overtook my body.
It was so beautiful.
It was crazy.
Yeah, I loved it. It was amazing.
That was truly a spiritual experience.
Yes, it was. It was stunning.
And we talk about astrology, and like some Christians don't like that, but like yesterday proved to me that astrology is real, because I'm an Aries. I'm a double Aries.
There we go.
And I was crying. I was
moment.
reborn.
Phoenix rising from the ashes is what happened yesterday.
No, yeah, that was wild.
It was so beautiful. I loved it. And I see people like online talk about it as well. Anything that like brings loads of people together. Again, commonality.
Yeah, exactly.
Rapport, building that with other people.
There's like such power
it's like
in that.
We're all the same. Like just me having the revelation, like we're all right now looking at the exact same sky.
Yeah.
Like so beautiful. And I think whenever like not to get existential, like our whole lives are so about us. Like we have our For You page, and we have like our algorithms, and we have the things that we like, and we have our tabs, and we have like our Pinterest boards that are all catered to us, to all like be looking at something that has nothing to do with us as individuals, but actually like us as like humanity. Oh my gosh, no, I was like crying just because of that. I thought that was so exciting. Yeah. That like we all are, and that we would like look up as well. Like it's just so beautiful. It was like a reminder from God to like keep your eyes there.
And the fact that like that the Lord like created that and planned, like, you know what I mean? Like we as humans predicted and knew this was going to happen because science, but like since the beginning of time, the Lord had all of this planned too. And he's like, yeah, today this happens, today this. It's just crazy. Like crazy to think about that stuff. Yeah. And that it's a once in a lifetime sort of situation too, I think like made it more powerful. For sure. I don't know. And Isaac I was like at Isaac's school, so I was crying too. He was just like, all the kids were literally screaming like the world was ending. And I was crying.
No, that's so cute. They were like, no, to be fair, I was screaming too. I was just like so excited. It was amazing. It was so fun to see.
It was just crazy.
Yeah. I loved that.
But I also cry at like concerts, but I think for the same reason, like the commonality and like people coming together for the same reason, whether it's like to watch the eclipse or to watch your favorite singer or whatever, just like people coming together for a unified reason is so beautiful, whether it's like, you know, spiritual or whatever, or it's just to see a painting. I don't know. Like there's just something really magical about people coming together.
Agreed. It's like a silent acknowledgement. Like we're all the same. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we're all here we all like there's so, and I think I've realized that when I've like traveled going to New York, I was like, there's just so many people in the world. So like, many people. I think you just get so stuck in your little bubble, and you just realize you think like this is all there is to life. Yeah. And then it's like,
and so many life experiences. Yeah. And so many stories, so many traumas, like crazy. If you think about your life and then multiply it by however many billion of people.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so cool. I can't, back to the kids conversation, because this is how my brain works. Is it so interesting to like raise obviously people like little people that are a little bit like you but also like themselves? What is that like?
Yeah, honestly sometimes like it pisses me off. I can't tell you why. Because I legitimately don't know.
Because they're so like you, or because they're like so not?
Both.
Okay. That's fair.
I think actually what pisses me off is like whatever missed expectation that I have of what like parenthood should be, or their responses should be, or what I should look like as a mother. Like when those things don't happen, that's when I'm like, what's going on here? Right. Which is just ridiculous. Like this is not a good thing. But it's also like, it's super fun and rewarding, you know? Like you're raising a human, terrifying. I will never stop saying that. Like raising a human life, there should be some sort of qualification to be able to do such a thing.
I agree.
Like they just grow up and then they go into society. And that's happening all the time with people. Like So scary.
Yeah.
But also really awesome too.
We let 18-year-olds vote.
What?
What?
We let 19-year-olds have babies? Like, don't stop. Like, I'm not trying to Handmaid's Tale anything,
No,
but like,
yeah.
what?
But it's also like, huh?
There should be rules for this.
Yeah, for sure.
But then if you understand like the magnitude and the weight of raising a human, it's like the most rewarding thing on the planet too. And I know that's cliche too, but it's so true. And then seeing them like step into their own, it's cool because when they're babies, it's like, oh, it's so sweet, they need me. And then as they grow up and develop personalities, it's like a whole new ball game. Like Layla loves theater now. And I'm like, I never could have predicted that. Like, we're not a theater family. I'm not a theater kid. Yeah. But she loves expression through theater and acting and like being goofy and silly. And it's so rewarding to support her in doing that and like pay for the classes or whatever it is so she can become her own human. Like, it's amazing. Yeah. I really love it.
That is really cool.
Even when it's stuff that I think is not really cool.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But I also cosplay, so I can't really say a lot.
Right. And like that's the other weird thing is like I think kids have this strange way of like taking in what their parents do and then like either taking like interpreting it in their own way.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean 100%. It's the whole like nature versus nurture conversation, which I like get stuck in a loop because I truly believe it's both. I feel like most people do, but like it's both 100%. You're born a certain way, but like the environment you grow up in does play a part on who you are. Again, terrifying.
I know it is scary. Have you seen the TikTok audio of Kamala who's like, you think you fell for the coconut tree?
No.
Are you kidding me? Wait. Oh, I don't have my phone with me.
It.
I'll show it to you. And she's like, and then she like does this weird laugh and she goes, she's like, you live in the context of everything that has come before you.
No, that's true though.
No, it actually is. I'm like, I know we're making fun of this as the internet, but like she kind of is eating. Like,
it's
she's
kind
making
of
a
true.
point.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you didn't just fall out of the coconut tree. Like you do come from your context.
You do.
Oh my gosh, but it's weird how the delivery was weird.
Yeah,
the delivery was weird.
What kind of parent do you think that you'll be?
I don't know.
Or like you want to be?
The kind of parent I want to be, I think my parents did like a good job answering my questions when I had them. So I hope to do that. I think my parents, like my mom went to Bible school growing up and then obviously like, we grew up in church too.
Yeah.
I don't think they were very like, they're not like very like ethics driven people. So I think I'm very that way. Like I think I like to think deeply about things and then address it. And so I think all the like the things that I believed I've had to interpret in my own way. And like it's like, oh, this is an ethic. This isn't because God told you, because that's not an ethic. Yeah. That's like I don't know.
That's a big part of growing up though, especially like when you're raised in Christianity.
Yes, absolutely. And so I was like, God telling you this is right isn't enough for me. Like you have to tell me why we believe this, why this is why this will make society better, why this will make me better, why this will make everyone better, our family better, whatever. Yeah. And so I think I would hope to be the parent that would be able to explain that in a way that they can understand. Yeah. And like where like that would be something where it would be like a value that they would hold, whether or not they would keep Christianity into adulthood. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
hey, that's a good point though. Explaining things in a way that they can understand might be the hardest part of parenthood.
And I believe that.
Because it'll be like questions and you're like, how do you explain that in a way that makes sense to your 6-year-old brain or whatever, you know, like that. Yeah. You'll do good at it though.
But I feel like I think about like all the tests we take even as adults, like like strengths finders or like Myers-Briggs, they technically are asking you the same question over and over again in a different way. 100%. And I feel like at the end of the day, it's pretty much what kids do too. 100%. You know, they're asking the same question. And I feel like to a degree, also like testing your answers. Because I feel like I would do the same thing as a kid as well.
See if there's like consistency.
Yeah. If there was like, is this for real what it is or no? Yeah. Like, tell me. Yeah. So then I can.
And as your brain develops too, it's like, oh, I have new context. So do you want to tell me the truth now? Or were you telling me the truth then? Or
oh, that's such a good point. Yeah. Yeah. Like the more you know, you're like, is this even what I believe anymore? Right. Like, you know, and
because it's not black and white.
Yes.
Living is not black and white.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think it's obviously like hard, but I would hope that I would be that kind of parent that could like answer those questions and keep on answering them consistently, because I like deeply know in my mind and in my heart like what is true.
Yeah.
And so that's what I would hope. And to like obviously be funny. I feel like my parents,
You're a funny person.
I know, but like I think growing up my parents rock and they are funny in their own way. They're not very like silly people though. Is I think the way that I would describe them. Like they are funny and like they find things funny and like obviously laugh and like love to laugh. We laugh a lot together. But I think I'm a lot more silly, and I would hope whoever I would end up with, like he would also be silly and funny and goofy, you know? But yeah, I think that's interesting. Have you had to like figure out, or like what I guess is if you could like give you and Atticus's balance like a name or like a title, like do you have anything that would be like you are blank and he is blank?
I mean, like, I am not silly goofy.
But yes, you are.
Like, I feel like most of the time,
no
one else is laughing when I'm laughing, or if I make a joke, like, nobody gets it. Like, I'm not silly goofy. Atticus is, like, silly goofy.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he'll pick up the kids at carpool and, like, dance on the sidewalk. Like, silly goofy. Right. It's not happening. I'm not going to be doing that.
Hey, and I wouldn't do that either.
So I think maybe just like type A, type B, and that's where we are.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
But we do balance each other like in every way, I think.
When you were picturing like who you would end up with, was someone like Atticus a part of that? Or were you like, this is crazy?
Honestly, I don't know. Maybe like when I was younger, yes, that made sense. But once I had kids, all of that changed, like who I pictured, and even like picturing someone, to be honest. Like, when I had Layla, I kind of, in my brain was like, okay, so like I'm a single mom for the rest of my life. And that's cool. Like, I'm good with that. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's how I'll like fill in the blanks. Like, she still has great male role models, all those things. Like, so I kind of stopped picturing anyone in that role.
Just lost hope.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Protect yourself.
That. I think it's like I'm protecting myself and I'm protecting my kids. And if that means it's just me forever, cool. That's what I'll do.
Absolutely.
But then Atticus is like, nah, I got this.
What are you, pregnant?
What are you, pregnant? Yeah. Okay, cool. Let's date.
And that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's so funny. But yeah, do you think, what do you think like he would say about him? He can't speak for himself because he's not here. But what do you think he would say about being a dad in like this context?
I think he loves being a dad, and even like to this day, randomly he will thank me for like giving him the family that he has right now, because he even says like, I chose you, but like you chose me back and you chose me for Layla and Isaac, and that's far bigger than me just choosing to go into marriage with you. Yeah. So like, and not always, but definitely now, like he understands the weight of the decision that he made. And he's so happy that he made it. Like, I think it makes him more intentional in the way that he parents. Like, he realizes, I didn't make this, but this was gifted to me, and I want to make sure that I take care of the gift that I have. So I think it makes him, like, a little more intentional, maybe than some others. Yeah. And so sweet. He's so sweet anyway.
Yeah,
but,
like, that's such a great point.
He's such a good dad.
Yeah. Atticus rocks.
Atticus.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so to close, do you have like tips for parents? Yeah, tips for parents, or even like tips for kids who maybe feel like stuck. I think tips for kids who feel stuck maybe in their relationship with their parents. Obviously, like it's a lot of adults and like older teenagers who listen to the podcast, but if they feel like maybe they can't express themselves, or like advice that you have for them.
No, everybody's relationship with their parents are different, so I don't think it's a blanket answer that can apply to everyone, but I think expressing yourself, you can express yourself while being honoring to your parents at the same time, you know, like as long as you don't have some sort of like rebellious heart, or even if you do, like I guess express yourself for you, not in spite of someone else.
That's good. Yeah.
Not to be rebellious to someone else, but make sure that you're being true to who you are. And it kind of does work itself out. And if your parents aren't the person that like will embrace that and help that, like find somebody else in your life. Like I grew up with a lot of great friends, older friends that were like my parents' friends, or like an aunt or an uncle, or like a Danny or whatever, you know, like finding a youth pastor, whatever it is, finding somebody that will just like embrace you for you is so life-giving. Yeah. So I think one, like make sure you're expressing yourself and living your life for who you are authentically, not in spite of someone else. And then like finding your person, finding somebody that will embrace you and help you grow and be the best version of yourself.
That's good. I like that. I think to add on to the spite thing, if you are doing something in spite of someone, you're still not doing it for you.
Right.
And it's like the lie of living in spite is like you think you're doing it to like prove a point, but at the end of the day, you're just doing it to make for somebody else.
Literally,
like,
no one cares.
No one cares.
Right.
Like figure out what will make you happy, what will fulfill you, and you will 100% be better. And you know what? And whoever is your enemy, they'll probably hate that.
Oh, 100%. Like the kill 'em with kindness thing is so true.
It is true.
Like living your life fulfilled with joy and happiness, it's going to piss them off. Exactly. Don't do it because of that, but it will piss them off.
Every time. Works like a charm.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then, do you have any, like, if you could give maybe if there is a parent or somebody who wants to be a parent one day and they're like confused, or they just like don't know. I don't know. Like they have no hope for like them parenting or their background that they come from, you know?
Yeah. I think parenting is hard and you can't really prepare for it that much until you're a parent. Everyone says that, but it's actually true. And the weird thing about parenting is like you have to relearn how to be a parent as your kid grows. Like I know how to parent a baby and a toddler, but now I'm parenting preteens in both genders and very different personalities. So it's like you have to relearn how to be a parent, just like you have to learn and grow like how to be a human. Yeah. So I think being open to that, surrounding yourself with people that love you and like will tell you the honest truth and help you grow is really important. And then like read some books, you know, like whatever.
Educate yourself. Ignorance helps no one.
Honestly, educate yourself. But being open to learn and grow, if you have that heart posture, then it's fine. Like it's going to be fine. Yeah. But like read a book. I don't know.
Yeah, read a book. Keep your hobbies.
Keep your hobbies. No, that's actually true though. I know, that's a good point. Like still be a person. Be your own person. Have a hobby. Have friends.
Fight to be your own person.
Yeah. It's better for you. It's better for your kids.
Which is great. Which, again, I think is a rule that can be applied to life in general.
Totally.
Yes, children. Yes, marriage. But also, like, work. Fight to be your own person.
Right.
Don't make your job your personality.
Right.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you have your own interests.
Totally.
Be your own person. But, yeah. Anyways, guys, she rocks. I told you.
Oh, no.
I love you
Olivia.
too. Platonic soulmates.
Forever.
Romantic soulmates. But, yeah. Okay. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I don't think I have. Okay, subscribe to the YouTube channel right here, and then follow the Instagram. I always forget these. You Are Here.pod. You can follow my personal at Janelle Ciani, and yeah. What if I've forgotten? Listen, rate us, give us a comment, do all those things. But yeah, thanks for watching. Bye, guys. Mwah. Oh my gosh, I love that. That was so fun. Did you have fun? So many words. Yeah, it was good. I loved it.